that you can now. I would like to invite the directors again, Mihaela Drăgan. Hi, and Simonida Selimović. First, I would like to thank you for the movies. It was truly a pleasure to watch them, I believe, for the rest of us, and thank you for joining us. It's a very interesting panel, I would guess, mainly because we're all from the Balkan bloc, and we're all representation of a different type of Romani culture, but still Romani culture indeed. So I would say that a lot of the representation that I saw was for very important pillars in the Roma community, at least for me, that was kind of broken through the image of the female, of the Roma woman, and how she represents the strength, the power, the savior in the community, the carrier of the pain, but from a very different perspective. So I would like to start with Mihaela, because you're exploring a very interesting tradition and rituals among our communities that have been exploited on multiple occasions by many stereotypes of the fortune telling, of the woman that is gonna cast a spell for you for love. This is something that I can remember, at least when I was a kid, a lot of my non-Roma friends saying to me, do I know anyone that can cast a love spell? So how did you decide to explore that topic and present it in a different narrative, to rewrite the narrative, basically?
So first, is this working?
I'm guessing it is.
Yeah. So first of all, I have to say that I conceived this work as a video installation, and I don't really want to define myself as a director, because I'm an actress and I studied theater and acting, and I work with video, but I think it's more honest to say that I'm a video artist than a director or filmmaker. So yes, I have to say that what you watch tonight is part, is bringing the ideas of Roma futurism further. Roma futurism is a concept that I developed 2 years ago. And how I define Roma futurism is like the intersection between Roma culture and history with technology and witchcraft. And why witchcraft? Because I think it's a feminist political act by itself to identify with the figure of the witch. Because as you said before, many Roma witches are practicing witchcraft, and I think is a lot of stigma around them, a lot of stereotypes, especially in media. And we know that we also, like, we the Roma women we always receive this label of the witch. So I wanted to reclaim the figure of the witch, because I think it was very stigmatized by the Gaje, but for us it was never a stereotype among our community. And I wanted to show the power of the Roma women through this practice. And I mean, the Roma witches with whom I work for this movie, they are not only casting spells, love spells, they also cast political spells. They are very involved in this. I remember at the European elections, like 2 years ago, they went in the front of the Romanian parliament and they did a ritual there. So they are very close to everything that is happening in our society, despite this perception that the Roma witches, they are somehow in the past, primitive, with no connection, with no contact to technology, and so on. And actually, they are using a lot of technology. They are streaming their rituals. They talk with their clients via internet, phones and so on. So they are very modern. They are very contemporary. They are very updated to everything that is happening. They are using a lot of gadgets, technological gadgets. And for me, it was very important to invent to invent this series of rituals that can bring heal among the Roma community, because I think this is a topic that we don't talk about our healing, as we also saw in the Simonida's movies, that we don't talk about the past, we don't talk about the Holocaust, we don't talk about all this oppressive history. So we can't heal our transgenerational trauma if we don't talk about it. So I think I was very interested into bringing healing among the community, discussing all this past, and also projecting a safe future for us in a Europe that is more and more fascist nowadays. And I wanted to show them powerful. I mean, they are powerful. I mean, I didn't have to trick anything, and to be in control with the politics and everything it's happening regarding the Roma politics. Somehow, like, the destiny of Roma people is in our hands too. And many times in Romania, I don't know if how is in the rest of the countries, but many times they have polemics with the politicians, and they try to scare politicians with their spells. So they, yeah. And this is what Mihaela and her daughters are doing in Romania and Bucharest. So yes, I think to bring further the ideas of the Roma futurism and start to think and project us in the future as Roma people. Because I think this is also subversive ideas for the fascists. They don't want us to be in the future. So like, we reclaim our future.
Thank you. I would say that, as you touched in your movie, there was a very interesting angle of representation of pain, which we felt like witnesses in a very intimate moments of pain, anger, love, identity crisis, confrontational pain, or even worse, confessional pain. So I wanted to understand, why did you choose this method of representing very, very deep rooted problems that I think any of us can at one point connect and feel the pain that we saw?
Because I recognize that nobody is talking about it, not about the past, like in my family, and not about the future. It's just they think that they are in the now, but they're not, because they don't want to talk about past, like Mihaela said before. So how this could be solved? How could this heal? And I talked about identities a lot, because a lot of Roma, they don't want to talk about their identity. They don't say that they're Roma. And sometimes even not when they're in a higher position, like doctors, like we saw the role from Sander, that they have this internalized racism to go against their people. And I made a research like 2 years about Bibi Sara Kali before. I call her Bibi Sara Kali because Bibi, she's called in on the Balkan, and Sara, it's in Canada and in France, and Kali, it's in India and in Sri Lanka. So I chose to take 3 names for this movie. It was very important for me also that people could identify with these roles, first of all, and then with the God, because how could you present God? I didn't want to make like light, or, you have to to make her really like a human, and to put her in bodies of humans, and that she could switch, and to that she's leading you somewhere, and give you like doing, come on, wake up, see there, even it's hurt, but you have to see where you come from, why are you here, what will happen now if you don't talk about what's happened, what was the past, and why you don't want to identify with your roots, what's wrong about this. So yeah, and then for me it was very important to show the feminist, I mean the female role in this in the society and in the communities of Roma communities, how they identify with this. And I was searching for, how we could work with it, how we could stand behind this, but to go really deep, to don't stay just, to have just a projection out of it and to think how could it be. If you go really deep, then you have more feeling with these roles, with the figures that you see, the roles. I just have also to say that this should be first a theater project, and then because of Corona, we decided, because we couldn't make the premiere, first we planned 10 minutes of video projections in the theater, and then I changed it. We made more video in the theater, and I decided also to really do it in the theater, because for me it was very important to see how interdisciplinary will work theater with the film together with the movie, how we could make like games in the theater, which spaces we give to other people that they're not in Vienna, like with the sisters. Where are the sisters belonging? Where is the family of the sisters? Where is the mother? Why is she so out? Why is she so far? And that's why we were searching for places where to put the roles of and for the places for these protagonists that we were working with them.
Thank you, Simonida. I have a lot of questions, but I think the audience has too, so I'm gonna let everyone to express or ask any questions, and maybe I can ask mine later on. Is there any questions? Anyone?
Please repeat the questions for the stream. Thank you.
I'm not sure I see from the light, so if anyone has a question, they can stand up maybe. If not, maybe I can ask mine. Then it's very interesting because there is something I noticed in both of the movies. You're using the expression in Romani language in a very intimate way, where this is not supposed to be for outside. It's a very intimate moment in the representation of your culture, community, but also it's only for your culture and community. Was this in a way to reclaim also our use of language nowadays? Because more and more we stop using it. Me, myself, for example, I don't speak Romani language. I wish I could, but I don't. So was there a common idea? Because it was seemingly similar in both of the movies.
Yeah, I mean, for me, yeah, it was definitely a statement to use Romani language in the film. And anyway, like me neither. I don't speak Romani language in my family. I know that Simonida, she speaks, but Mihaela, Minka, and her daughters, they are speaking Romani language. So of course we wanted to use it, and of course, if there is any magic in the language, then it should be Romani language, because it has so many senses, and there is magic there. and many of their spells somehow are in Romani, but also they use a lot of Romanian. And for the last part, the poem that I wrote it, of course, in Romanian, in my mother language, but I wanted to be translated and to say it in Romani, because it was something for the future, something that should remain, and our language should stay with us in the future.
For me, it was very important to use Romani language in this movie because, or theater, because it's about the 31st of January. This is this Bibi Sara, the Aunt's Day, we call it in Serbia. And I found out that we celebrate it because Roma survived at this day. They came from the concentration camps back, and then they start to celebrate Bibi again, like Kali. And this was the 31st of January. We are going always to one tree, and there's a big celebration the whole day. And then there's also Roma, like Roma night, they call it a Roma bal, Romano bal, yes, like this. And I mean, the thing was that my family was hiding in the woods, and it was not allowed for them to talk in Romani language. So it was forbidden in this part of Balkan. Some of them was also, in houses inside, there was closed everything, and they died in the houses, or they, all these things, what happened with the Roma when they used their or practice their feasts, or if they celebrate their gods, it was not allowed for them to celebrate Bibi Sara, like Kali, and that's why they gave her other names like Bibi or Sarah. And that's why we talk about whitewashing. They made her looking more European, more white, just to be allowed to celebrate her, to make a feast out of Bibi from Kali. Because if you remember, or some of you know how Kali is looking, if you see some pictures from her, then you know it was not allowed in Europe to make some, to believe in this kind of god. This was a monster in Europe for them. And then the Roma started to whitewash her. They make her like just light brown skin, and make her more without this lot of arms, and without these monsters cutting hats, and without weapons. So yeah, then it was allowed for them to celebrate her feast. And then because they survived the Roma, they started to celebrate again Bibi Sara Kali, because of, like, if something bad happened, then you have to make a big party out of this. And yes, and because of these things, all of these things, I decided to have really like, I want to make like half of it in Romani language. Now it's like 30%, so it's good. We're good in percent. Yes, first I thought, we'll not do it, maybe 10%, but then it was really 40%. And what I found out, we were looking in which language we will act some scenes. That scenes for the older persons was really like with the emotion, very, very touchy. Even also with us, with the sisters, when we started to make some scenes, warm up, that you act differently with languages that you use, which I raised up with this language. I learned it from the beginning, and Serbian too. This is also like my emotional language. When I think, I found out, okay, this is somewhere in my consciousness, and the consciousness that I'm really in these languages. I sometimes translate things for me emotionally, just to play it in a different way. So it was very important, these three languages to mix and to have it in the movie theater.
Maybe a final question, and if someone doesn't raise, okay, we have a question.
Hi, thank you very much for your movies. They're really inspiring, especially Mihaela's movie, because I'm also Romanian. I could feel the emotion in those Romanian lines. What I want to ask is, how are the home countries that you're coming from receiving the art that you're doing and the representation? Like here, it's an international forum, and we are at an international film festival. But how is the art received in the countries where the problems are happening, basically? Because I know how Roma people are viewed in Romania, and I'm really curious, like, if you presented the movies in Serbia or in Romania, what was the reaction of the public, of the people who are not necessarily part of the community or outlets?
So the question
Yeah.
is, what was the acceptance and the representation in the homeland of both of the movies, and how it was received from the mainstream media and communities, not only Roma?
Yeah, thank you for this question because I think it's really important to talk about this. Like we opened an exhibition with this movie in February at the Goethe Institute in February. And you can imagine how difficult it was to interact with the director, with the German director from there, when he heard that witches will attend the event, because they are performing in this. He basically prohibited me to bring them, and I was like, no, I'll make a big scandal. How come? How can you dare to be, like that in my face? So racist. And they were supposed to perform a ritual there, something very light anyway, not even a political spell. But yeah, they were not allowed. But they came, of course, they came at the opening, at the exhibition, and of course, the director pretended that everything is okay. Like, he invited me to talk about this, and immediately I invited Mihaela and the daughters, and they took over the space, and they really used the space for their voice, and they started to talk. So this was one thing. Another thing, it was a big scandal in the press. Like, look at the Roma witches. They are supported with the money, with the state money. They are in these noble art spaces. They shouldn't be there. And it was a press communicate that it was took over by many other, that basically say the same thing. How the state is supporting, with the money state, these witches that actually they are doing fraud. They are thieves. And that was a moment when I got really upset. So I wrote to the redaction of one of the most somehow important, and they apologized because they took the communicate actually for a far right-wing press, without checking. They didn't even support. I mean, I made the movie with Roma money, not with Gaja money. It was supported by ERIAC anyway, not by Goethe Institute or any other Romanian funds. So yeah, they deleted the article, and they published an apology, a public apology, that they didn't check it, that this is not deontologic, if this word exists in English. Yeah, it's not professional, you know. They just took a press communique. They didn't check anything. They also invent a lot of crimes, you know, for the witches, like they are cheating people, they taking their money. They are known for I don't know what frauds. Anyway, like I didn't have the time and the energy to write to every magazine and so on, but I really remember that moment that I was really impacted, you know, like I built it, you know, something for us, something for my community, something that is speaking about our history, about our healing, you know. And look, you know, how the Gage, you know, perceive this, you know, and the media, the Gage media. But anyway, beside this, the film was presented since February in 3 big exhibition in Romania. It will be in the next year in Nepal at Kathmandu Triennale. It was also the last month in Bucharest International Festival. So anyway, it was it was shown a lot. I'm talking.
No, it's okay. You should talk. Should I answer too?
If you have anything.
We show it in cinemas. We didn't have this live version like Mihaela had. And how was the reaction? The reaction was positive. I was first afraid because it's mixed with the theater and it's interdisciplinary work, and then it's different languages there with subtitles. The people in Germany and Austria, they are not used to read subtitles. They don't like this. We show it in Bucharest. In Bucharest, it was very nice. They loved it very much. We never show it in Serbia. I hope we could do it once.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Not so much a question. I am a Gaji, and I just want to thank you for the video installation and film. It's a rare opportunity to get a female Romania perspective on the world and certain and specific aspects of this world. So thank you very much for this. The second film was very intensive, I think. I was very impressed of the aspects I was seeing and hearing and feeling in it. It is a really dense film, I would say. And in the video installation, I got access to something I have never heard about. So thank you for that. And I have a small question for that film, and that is, I was very impressed by the fingernails of all the witches. Mm-hmm. And it might be a stupid question, but I still want to ask it. If this is, what's their meaning, or why do they have these fingernails?
The question is...
so this is stylish. I have to tell you, we are very stylish. We care a lot about the way in which we look. Right? So this is how the witches look. They always are going to do their nails, to do their hair, to put their makeup. They are always good dressed up, you know. So it wasn't something that I asked them to do. I just wanted them, you know, to be real. And I know that for many audience, it seems like it was my idea to make them, you know, very beautiful with a lot of makeup and so on. No, I mean, this is the way in which they like to be, and this is, you know, what they wear. So, but I suggested to Mihaela when she went to do her nails, I suggested her, you should do some snakes. And she took over the suggestion.
Thank you. I think there was one last question we can take before we close the Q&A. Someone, yes. Yeah, I think I saw you raising the hand several times.
Ja, you can try. Also zuerst vielen Dank also für so die beiden tollen Filme. Also ich war auch überrascht. Ich bin so halb Roma aus Spanien und meine Frage geht konkret an dich. Also in dem Film, also es gab so sehr viele Selbstkritik, ne? An deine also Sachen, die so traditionell oder die Tradition zeigt. Ne? Die Frau hat das auch gesagt und irgendwie, das ist die Tradition, so muss es sein, irgendwie so schwarz tragen und sich nicht waschen und so. Ne? Wie hat deine Community in Serbien reagiert auf diese Selbstkritik? Immer wenn ich zum Beispiel in Spanien versucht habe, ich habe als Antwort gekriegt, du bist nicht Roma oder du bist nicht genug. Ja? Also diese Selbstkritik ist immer so eine sehr heikle Sache und irgendwie sehr schwierig. Und ich habe dann irgendwie so mittlerweile schon sehr viel so Überreaktion. Und eine zweite Sache ist, Spanien, es sind so sehr viele Gemeinsamkeiten, was in Spanien auch abgeht mit die Ultrarechte oder so die Rechten, also zu wählen. Und angeblich darf man dann auch nicht darüber reden. Wie ist es dann auch darüber reagieren?
Ja. Danke für deine Frage. Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see you. I was like with whom you're talking about. How is it for Roma community to talk about tradition in this movie and to talk about voting for the right wing? Is it right? What I say? Yeah. Soll ich dir auf Deutsch antworten, ne? Also die eigene Familie oder die Roma-Community zu kritisieren wegen Traditionen oder so, kommt eigentlich daher, dass wenn man nicht in der Roma-Community die ganze Zeit da ist, vor allem so in diesen kleineren Städten oder in den Dörfern und nicht alles weiß, dann wird man sofort kritisiert, weil man irgendwo anders lebt, in einer großen Stadt, dass man dann keine Romni mehr ist. Dann wird sofort, du bist keine Romni, du hältst dich nicht daran, du hast keine Ahnung. Und das hat mich irrsinnig immer genervt, nur weil, also nicht mal nachfragen war erlaubt. So Fragen, sofort, also so verbal natürlich. Ja. Man hat Glück, wenn man keine abkriegt. Aber das ist etwas, was ich unbedingt da drinnen haben wollte, weil es eine Sache ist, die viele dadurch auch aus der Roma-Community eigentlich raus befördert, obwohl eigentlich die Roma ja mehr zusammen sein wollen. Und dadurch erzeugen sie aber genau das, dass die Leute sich nicht mehr willkommen fühlen und dann einfach sagen, ja, dann bin ich halt keine Romni. So wie das auch die Melissa, die Figur sagt, die Protagonistin sagt, ja, ich bin keine Romni. Ich bin halt, ja, es ist viel einfacher, einfach die Rechten zu wählen, weil man auch schon in dieser sozialen Schicht ist und auch sozial geprägt wurde. Also warum sollte ich jetzt unbedingt eine Romni sein, die jetzt auf Kultur tut und sich unbedingt in diesen Traditionen versteht und all das, all diese Klischees erfüllt, die aus den Medien kommen. Also das heißt, gibt es zweierlei Paar Schuhe und das ist etwas, was ich finde, das schon wir auch ansprechen dürfen, von innen heraus und unbedingt auch irgendwo besprochen gehört. Und das ist immer so sehr drunter. Du kennst das selber, erlebst das auch selber. Und ich denke aber, dass das eine total wichtige Auseinandersetzung ist. Für die Community selbst, zum einen als erstes, um dann auch nach außen gehen zu können, um sich dann nicht genieren zu müssen. Weil ich habe auch rausgefunden, auch über so viele Traditionen, die ich auch so belächelt habe und noch immer belächle oder jetzt verstehe und nicht mehr belächle, dass die alle einen Sinn machen. Also, dass die wirklich einen Sinn machen, vor allem über Jahrhunderte, die wir hier sind. Und wenn man das Ganze hinterfragt und ein bisschen mehr da gräbt, kriegt man einiges heraus, wo es Antworten gibt auf so gewisse Verhalten, warum sich das eingeschlichen hat oder warum es solche Traditionen gibt. Also so wie zum Beispiel ja nicht mit Gabel und Messer essen. Wir kommen aus Indien, da isst man eigentlich mit Löffel oder mit den Händen. Das ist ganz normal. So. Man isst dann halt nicht. Ja. Und da behält man sozusagen die Tradition. Da nimmt man nicht von der weißen Gesellschaft die Kultur her. Da muss man das nicht befolgen. Also eines nur davon einmal.
Thank you very much. Do we need a translation in English, or maybe we can have subtitles?
Yeah. Yes, must be subtitles.
Perfect. I would like to close the Q&A session. I think everyone can have some short chat with you after. I would like
Or
to thank you.
not.
Or not.
No, I'm joking, of course.
I would like to thank you both. I also would like to thank the Film Festival for all of these opportunities to witness and have these conversations, because frankly, we don't have a lot of them present. So we should embrace every single opportunity we have. I also would like to thank the audience for being patient. I know we went above the 20 minutes. I just have some few final announcements, and I can close the session, I promise. First, don't forget to cast your vote. And I think there will be a box outside. And the party is in...
It's not good. It's very good.
That is very good. That is super.
Yes, we always on the higher volume. The more, the better.
Like in school.
No, exactly. The higher, the better. No, not exactly. So this is a more pleasant topic. There will be a festival party tonight, and it will be in Gunnar Salon. Thank you.
Everybody who know the Roma Club Theater, we get a new home now in the Volksbühne. Luxembourg.
Your German is perfect.
So latest in a half hour. But before we close, I also want to say thank you to our jury member. Galia Stevanova is a jury member of this 5th edition of KINO Romani Film Festival. But I also want to say thank you to all 3 sisters, to Simonida, Selimović, and to Mihaela Drăgan. We are sometimes in hot pants somewhere and making other also yoga workshops together. Maybe soon again. So stay tuned and please let's have fun tonight in the Wiener Salon. Hopefully to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching it.
Thank you very much. I want to hug.
Venko Amaro Romano Filmesco Festivalo KINO.